How much should you ask for when negotiating salary with a new company? My name is Mary, in charge of training and career advisory services here at Corporate Staffing, and I'm glad to be joined by one of our interview coach, Noella, in this conversation. I do believe this will come in handy for you for the next role, especially when you're having salary conversations. Thank you, Noella, for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, whenever salaries are mentioned, we are all smiles because it is money.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So when it comes to salary negotiation, even before the actual conversation, what are some of the effective ways candidates can practice their negotiation skills?
Okay. I know the salary question, some candidates would always want to avoid it because they would feel shy sometimes. But you can always practice on how to negotiate for your salary. And the first thing to do is to outline your key achievements or accomplishments so that you can present your case. For example, how many successful projects have you handled? How much revenue was accumulated? And even for a sales role, talk about your targets. Yeah, and you can also practice by role playing with a friend on that question, or also seek a career coach, like an interview coach, to just give you more advice on the same.
Because I agree with you, from the coach's perspective, they've been handling so many other roles that might be similar to the role you'll be interviewed for. So depending on the industry, they should actually be having a clue or an idea of what to expect and how to get it. Interesting. Now, as a candidate, we keep advising candidates during the interviews to do their market research so that they ensure that they are giving the right range for the salaries. Now, how can they assess their market value? As a candidate, how do they assess their market value, and what are some of the factors that they need to consider when determining their salary expectations?
Okay. When it comes to assessing the market value, we do have some websites from where you can be able to know the market value of particular roles, depending on some factors, which I'm just about to mention. So we have Glassdoor, we have PayScale, which can inform you better. They can give you a range, and that will guide you when quoting a salary. Now, the factors that you need to consider, number one is location. Yeah, a position of a project manager in the hardship areas would pay you more as compared to...
At least you should expect more.
Exactly, you should expect more as compared to a place like Nairobi.
What is within the market.
Yeah, so that could be one factor. Factor number two is your unique value. Unique value could include any certifications, any professional certifications that you have pursued. For example, in the project management field, certificates like PMP, the Prince 2 would give you an upper hand as compared to someone who does not have those certifications. So hiring you would mean you've gone an extra mile. Yeah, so that can attract more salary.
And I know this is why for some adverts they normally indicate salary is based on will be determined based on experience level.
Yes. Yeah. And then the next one could be the size of the company. Of course, a very big company wouldn't expect you to pay the same as a startup.
Sure.
Yes. And then lastly is the industry trends. For example, if there is a high demand of in the cybersecurity industry, if there is a high demand of cybersecurity experts, then that means the salary would be higher.
A bit higher.
A bit high, yeah.
So you should expect more.
Yes.
Interesting. Your final remarks as we wrap up this video, what are your final remarks for candidates who really find, or rather feel, anxiety or anxious about negotiating salaries? Okay.
What I would tell you is that it's part of the interviews, okay? The discussion of the job requirements, just as much as we would discuss the job requirements, we'd also discuss the salary.
It's a conversation.
It's a conversation that should be had. It should be had. Yeah. So it's unnecessary for you to feel shy, and also some candidates would want to underquote, you know, or just settle with what the company,
the employer is willing to pay.
Yes. So do your research. Also know your value,
and prepare because I do believe preparation kills anxiety.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Matters to do with salary negotiation, as Noella has mentioned, it is a conversation that you can't avoid. Always be ready, be prepared to have that conversation. And of course, sell with value. Every employer will always pay for value, so you can't afford to undersell yourself. At the same time, you can't afford to extremely overquote, and that is why it is important to do market research and know what is within the market range as far as that role is concerned, putting in consideration all the other factors that Noella has highlighted. I believe this will come in handy for you, and we encourage you to reach out to us at Corporate Staffing Services. We have interview coaches. We'll have a conversation with you depending on the position you're going to be interviewed for, and they are able to guide on how to go about salary negotiation conversations. Thank you for watching this video, and see you in the next one.